This huge new change in Expedition 33 is going to completely change the way that you can play the game and also how you're going to approach New Game Plus. And of course, what I'm talking about is now the ability of this challenges, where you can limit the amount of damage that you do, but you can also give your enemy a ton more life. Now, you can actually do this in your playthrough right now, even if you're not in New Game Plus. This is something that you can put into the game as soon as possible. Now, there has been tons and tons of rumblings that New Game Plus just really wasn't difficult enough, thus making it feel less worth it. But this does kind of change everything. And to give credit to the developers where credit is due, this is actually a fantastic upgrade. Now, I am not that keen on the idea of limiting the amount of damage you can do. I am a dopamine monster. The more damage numbers I see, the better I enjoy it. That's how I build my characters. But giving the enemy more life is definitely something I am up for. Now, we are in New Game Plus here. I've just started my first New Game Plus, and I am limiting myself to the characters you have at the time. Like, at this point, I can add in anybody to my party, but I'm deciding to use just Gustav. It feels good to have him back, by the way, and Lune, because at this point of the story, these are the only two characters you would have. But we're going to fight an enemy here in the starting area in New Game Plus without any of the modifiers. Now, New Game Plus does warn you beforehand that there's going to be a difficulty curve, but is there actually a difficulty curve? As you will see here, that is one shot with Gustav. Yes, it's to the weakness, but we're going to be able to just shoot this guy down in one go, completely destroying the enemy. Now, I know this is a starting area, but in 14 seconds on New Game Plus, it doesn't feel like I should be able to do this. Granted, my character's a level 97, but if you've done all the endgame content and you've beaten that main final boss, you're going to be in the exact same position. Now, instead of playing about and showing you the difference between all the modifiers, I'm just instantly going to pump this to times 100 and show you the level you can go to. Again, if you want to limit your damage, that's absolutely fine, but I would rather give the enemy more health. I'm going to tell you right now, after playing a little bit, I think the sweet spot so far for me, probably anywhere around times 10 and times 20, but the fact that you have times 100 is absolutely insane. So let's rest, and then we will refight this boss again with the two characters we have and see just how much more difficult it is in terms of the health pool to beat this enemy. Now, there is a key reason why I'm going to say I think there is a better sweet spot, but you can instantly see we do 8.5. So you're thinking, oh my god, that's insane, but then look at the rest of the damage that we're doing and what it's doing to the health bar, which is little to absolute nothing to the health bar. I can no longer melt this enemy, and it's going to take me a hell of a lot longer to kill the enemy. In fact, it takes me a lot longer. We'll see the time at the end of this battle. Now, these characters are very, very well built at this stage, and that means that this shouldn't take too long. But there is one thing you will see here, because of the speed difference between yourself and the enemy, the amount of times that you go before the enemy can go does kind of make this feel just a little bit of a slog. You're just going to infinitely keep repeating the same cycle over and over again. And that, to me, just, it doesn't scream that much fun. I could be wrong. You might be like, I want to have to attack an enemy tons and tons of times. But for me, that's not really what I enjoy. I want the enemy to have more health, which means the enemy is going to do more attacks, which means I'm going to be in more jeopardy. I'm going to have to parry or dodge more often. But you'll see just how big this health pool is, how long it is taking us to put it down. Even when you're doing, you know, nearly 2 million damage there, we're not close. Now, I will explain that Mael by far is my best built character. So if I was using Mael, I might have a different outcome here. Like, this might be a little bit of a different outcome. But even doing insane damage, it's going to take me a hell of a long time to take this just random enemy. It's just a normal enemy's health bar down. And I am absolutely caning it with everything I've got. But you'll see, it's not had a single attack yet. So that's why I state, I don't think times 100 is actually fun. It's probably going to feel like a grind if just a base enemy has this health pool. I can't imagine what a stronger enemy has. I genuinely cannot imagine how gigantic their health pool is going to be. It's probably going to be quite scary, to be honest with you, how big, but we keep going. We keep showing off what we're doing, and you can still see that the enemy yet to have an attack. And that, again, just frustrating. But eventually, you will manage to whittle down the enemy. You'll get your minuscule XP, but 2 minutes and 39 seconds, in my opinion, for just a basic enemy in the game, that's not going to be fun in the long run. I'm not going to enjoy that. We did 17 million damage, but it wasn't fun. The enemy didn't attack me once. I didn't feel in danger. I just felt like I was repeating the same button pattern over and over again. So maybe changing this at each boss, that could be a determining factor. But you have to remember, at the start of this game, the speed disparity between yourself and the enemy is going to be extremely high. So I suppose maybe you do limit damage to, I don't know, 99 or whatever, and turn this down. But so far, I have found that this around times 20, times 10 is actually more than good enough. You're still going to beat the easier enemies quite easy. And I fought one of the little side bosses earlier in this area, and with about times 10, he had a few attacks. It was still relatively easy, but it still was relatively easy. I can't lie. But it was more difficult than it would have been just on base New Game Plus. So that's why I think this actually changes the game massively and massively for the better. That they're now adding in these options for us to make the game more difficult just kind of shows that the developers are listening and want you to have the kind of experience that you want, but also giving you the option that if you don't want a difficult time in New Game Plus, or maybe you entered New Game Plus at a lower level, which is probably what New Game Plus was designed for, that you're not going to struggle like mad because they've just all of a sudden buffed everyone. This also negates the problem that we had with the final mission. If you didn't see the video, I made a video saying I made a huge mistake. This was the biggest mistake I made in the game, and it was being too high a level to do that final mission. Well, this negates that now, because you're going to be able to cap the amount of damage you do, but you're also going to be able to make those enemies in that area take more damage, which instantly just fixes that end mission. I said all along they need some kind of scaling for that end mission. This is the scaling that you could ever want or need in order for that final mission, and I am just absolutely over the moon, because this to me shows that these developers are going to continue improving this game, or using what they get from this game for whatever game they do next, which I will be purchasing as quickly as possible. The pre-order will be in as soon as they announce that we can pre-order whatever the hell Sandfall Interactive do next. I'm absolutely loving this game. I'm looking forward to finishing my playthrough, and I will do a review of the New Game Plus experience as I found it. But so far, definitely with these multipliers, with these challenges, it is making it a lot more fun for me than what I imagined New Game Plus probably would have felt like if I hadn't have done that. Now, as per usual, let me know about your experiences down below, what you found that has made this more challenging, and how do you feel and think about them making these differences. I might start answering a comment on the video in the next video that I do. I think that would be a cool thing that we could do on the channel. The review for this game is coming out very, very soon. I have been working on this like mad. I have been working like mad at work as well at the exact same time, but I just kind of want that review to feel right and be recorded in the manner that I want it to be in. If you're new to the channel, smash subscribe, hit the like button. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much for the love and support on the channel so far, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck, Expeditioners.